Media is just portraying this very just clean, sanitized version of Lia Thomas and who this person is. There's a lot of material on this account that have some very disturbing connotations. Welcome to my channel, Outspoken Samantha. If you are new here, welcome. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. If you're returning, welcome back. Thank you so much for the support. On my channel, I like to give my opinion and perspective on things that are happening today, things that I think actually matter to everyday people, especially those of us trying to raise kids in the insanity known as today's society. Please like this video, leave your thoughts in the comments below, and share it with others. Also, be sure you are subscribed. Help me to grow this channel and hopefully reach more people that value logic, reason, and sanity. Also, be sure to find me on Rumble under Outspoken Samantha in the event that YouTube decides I have violated their community standards and chooses to kick me off their platform forever. That being said, let's get into today's topic. So if you guys remember, just a couple of years ago, this name started popping up all over the place, Lia Thomas. This individual who had spent most of their life living as a male, gone through puberty, their teen years, young adult years, swam competitively as an adult male, and then decided that they wanted to live their best life essentially and become a woman. And in doing so, they were allowed to compete against other biological females. And the story has just kind of blown up since then. We have seen this swimmer named Riley Gaines who has spoken publicly about the issues that have come up as a result of this, and just the thoughts and feelings of her fellow teammates that have gone largely ignored, especially in the name of progressivism and tolerance and acceptance and all of these pretty words that, essentially make it sound like if you're against this thing, against this movement, that then you must be against tolerance and acceptance, which is absolutely crazy. And as Riley has continued to be an advocate on this issue, to speak out on behalf of women's sports, on behalf of her teammates, on behalf of other female athletes who are worried about the impact that this is having on women's athletics and scholarships, we've learned more about the situation. And I am so grateful that Riley has continued to be a voice for these women, because there are so many women that feel like they just can't say anything. They're worried about the backlash. They're worried about being painted as a bigot or name called, which is strange because the people that would target them are the same ones that claim to be advocates for women's rights, that they care so much more about women's rights than anybody else. In an interview that Riley did recently with Jake Crain, who is a contributor on the Daily Wire, she started to give us more detail about how this essentially all unfolded. Around November of 2021, which is again when we started to hear the name Lia Thomas, this is when she had set a personal goal for herself to earn a national title. And in learning all the names of the people that had also qualified to compete, this name Lia Thomas popped up, and it was weird because she had never heard this name before. Come to find out that this individual had been competing on the men's team and now decided that they were a woman and wanted to compete on the women's team. Also worth noting is the fact that they placed 462nd on the men's team.
When you look up Will Thomas at this point, you can see that they were ranked 462nd at best.
Yeah. So as all of the insanity unfolded and she realized that she would actually have to swim against this person, they competed in a particular event. I am not well versed on the names of different swimming events, but they tied in this event within like 100th of a second, which she said is really, really rare. And this photo went viral where we can see Lia Thomas holding the trophy and Riley just kind of standing there like, okay. And what had happened just before that photo op is the heads of the event recognized that they had tied, but told Riley that for photo purposes, they would have to have Lia hold the trophy.
Next day was when Lia and I raced each other, and we swam the 200 freestyle, and crazily enough, we tied. So when we went the exact same time down to the 100th of a second, which is pretty rare.
Yeah.
And so upon tying, I go behind the awards podium, where they give you these like dinky little trophies and they parade you out. But the NCAA official looks at me and says, "Great job, y'all tied. The trophy goes to Lia.
What?
We'll eventually mail you yours." And so I kind of look at him and I quickly question him and I'm like, okay, I understand there's one trophy, don't account for ties, but what's your thought process on giving it to Lia? Why are you so adamant? And he said, well, for photo purposes, Lia has to have it.
Wow.
that was all bad enough. And then there was the whole issue of the locker room and the changing room. Riley goes on to tell us how she and the girls, they have been swimming together for years, so they're really not shy about, whether or not they're undressed in front of each other. It really is just a process to get these particular swimsuits on, and they really just can't be shy about it. In the process of changing, Lia Thomas walks in and essentially just drops their clothes and starts undressing like they're one of the girls. And she does mention this is a 6'4" male who is fully intact, no surgery whatsoever, and the girls had not been asked about whether or not they felt that this was okay. They did not consent to this, and instinctually they went to cover up, and they were just really surprised and taken aback and actually traumatized by the whole event.
I've really tried. I feel like it's really only happened like the past couple weeks where I get emotional talking about the locker room scene, because it is just so wild that you can turn around and see a 6'4" biological man pull his pants down watching you undress, and no one is willing to stick up for you.
They tried to bring it up to, the higher ups and say, this is not okay, this is not what we agreed to. They were informed that the locker rooms had been changed to unisex locker rooms, which is then presented the issue of, well, does that mean that any male can just walk in here now with women changing? One of Riley's teammates brought up the fact that she had been sexually assaulted when she was younger, and this was very traumatizing for her, and she was, having nightmares because of this experience. But when they again brought this up to the higher ups, they were ignored, and the rules stayed in place where this grown adult male could come into the locker room and change with them and walk around completely exposed. Up until this point, how many women's rights have been violated? They are having their sport taken over, they're having their changing room taken over, they're trying to voice their concerns, and they're being told that they have to be quiet. This adult male is having their needs and wants and desires prioritized over these women, and essentially the only person that matters is this male and what they want and how they feel. All the while, the media is just portraying this very just clean, sanitized version of Lia Thomas and who this person is, just saying they just want to compete. They just want to compete against the people that they feel align with their gender and who they identify best with. It's, we just need to be loving and accepting, and if you don't want to do this, then you're the problem, and you're the one that's going to cause harm to this person, and it's just all you. We're just getting this idea of it's just as simple as that. They just want to compete with the people that they feel that they best identify with. But that's not just it. Jake Crain did a little bit of digging into Lia Thomas and who this person actually is. Come to find out, so Lia Thomas has a public Instagram account, and it's very much, dedicated to swimming and trans rights and all of these things, just making this person look like an activist and somebody that just wants to fight for a cause, and that means no harm to anybody else, that they just want to be able to compete and to go into the private spaces where they feel most comfortable, and that they're advocating for the same rights for other people that feel that way. Lia Thomas also has a private Instagram account under Lia Thomas, Thimas. And on that account, so this is a private account, so we can't access it, but a person that is tagged in this account, Gwen something, I can't say their last name, Gwen is the person that Lia claims to be in a relationship with, who also claims to be a trans woman. And they have a GoFundMe account for breast augmentation. But that's not the worst of it. There's a lot of material on this account that have some very disturbing connotations. In one of the photos, Gwen is holding a jar and implying essentially that what is in that jar are testicles. Whether they are her testicles, his testicles, I don't know. Further in the account, and I did look at this up for myself, I actually took screenshots of the account because I have a feeling that when this person realizes that all of this information is being investigated and looked at, they're going to turn it to a private account. But there's mention of autogynephilia, there's mention of, satanic rituals. There are some very disturbing things on here. And what autogynephilia is when a man gets sexually aroused by the idea of being a woman and dressing up as a woman and being around other women, being portrayed as such. I am not going to go into all of the detail on this account. I will link Jake Crain's Twitter thread in the description box, so you can go and look at everything that they found. But one of, just a few of the things it says, besides posing in front of bondage gear and in bikinis with a genital bulge, Gwen posts dark and satanic artwork. One liked by Lia Thomas ironically joking that Lia will bring about the collapse of Western civilization, and another of Lia as a demonic dominatrix character. On August 6, 2022, in the Polycule IG post, Gwen posted a mysterious round-shaped organ-looking item in a clear ball jar. So I'll let you decide what you think that means. This is all obviously very disturbing, and again, the media kept telling us that this was just somebody that just wanted to live their best life and that we were bigoted and hateful if we raised any questions about it. Come to find out, this is a person who has some very concerning tendencies, and they are being allowed into the locker rooms and bathrooms of women who are changing, who are vulnerable, and who are traumatized by their presence. And again, we're not allowed to question it. And this also brings to light the fact that we keep saying that these policies can be abused by people who want to abuse them, people that are not mentally stable. Because let's remember, the men who want to portray themselves as women, we are not getting the best of the best men. We are not getting chivalrous men. We are not getting men that respect and care about women. We are getting men that want to live out their fetishes and fantasies, and these policies are allowing them to do so. Not only that, they are protected from being questioned and criticized for it. No, of course, this is not to say that all people that are transgender or who identify as the opposite sex or are living their life that way have these, perverted fetish fantasies. But at the same time, we don't know for sure. We cannot get into the minds of these people, and they are allowed to say that, oh, I just want to live my best life. And they can say whatever they want to get into the spaces where they get to live out those fantasies, and we're just expected to believe them. How are we supposed to differentiate between the people that just want to live their best lives versus the people that are just saying that so that they can impose on the privacy of women in vulnerable positions so that they can live out the things going on in their brain? The problem is that there's no way to differentiate between these people, and we're not allowed to differentiate these people. We're just supposed to accept policies in place that allow whoever wants to go into a women's bathroom or locker room, again, where there are no cameras and there's no one to monitor what is happening in there. We're just supposed to take them at their word and not question it, because if we do, like these women who are afraid to speak out, we receive backlash. We are targeted and harassed, and we're told that we're just labeling the entire trans community as perverts when that's not what we're doing. Labeling perverts as perverts, and the fact that perverted people are going to abuse policies that allow them to do the things that they want to do. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. Please like this video, share it with others. Be sure you are subscribed. Hit the notification bell to be notified every time I post a video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.